What's up? My name is Jonathan Antonio Martinez Machina. I'm from Tijuana, Baja California, Mexico, and this is the Didgeridoo podcast. Our guest today is Didgeridoo maker and player from Israel. Can you say your name?
My name is Yoram Sivan.
Yoram
Yoram,
Yoram
Yoram
Yoram Sivan
Sivan.
Sivan
Yeah, yeah.
Yoram Sivan. And you are from Israel.
And I'm from Israel. I live in Kfar Vitkin. It's a village like in the middle of Israel, near the sea. And first, it's very nice meeting you, Jonathan. Like
Uh,
we had some conversations in the past, but now like we have a
it,
real
a
conversation.
real conversation.
Yeah,
The closest to a real conversation, because
yeah.
one day I hope one day can go over there and play didgeridoo for you,
I hope so too.
for your people over there. It will be so awesome. Bring in
Yes.
the Mexican party. Yeah, this is the question that I do to every single didgeridoo player, and it's more like uh, at least for me weird. Like, how did you um weird in the way that Israel is very like away from Europe, and there is no place that I see there is a didgeridoo close to Israel. So how
No,
did uh-huh.
that's right. We are very separated, like from Europe and from the Middle East around us.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but there is quite a scene of didgeridoo going on in Israel in the
Yeah,
last,
yeah, I know, I
I
know.
would say, 15 years.
This is
Started
the
like,
crazy thing about, yeah.
yeah, and for example, when I started with didgeridoo about 25 years ago, a little
Oh.
bit more, uh, it was really unfamiliar. No didgeridoo players, nobody knew it at all.
Mm-hmm.
But since I would say uh, probably at least 15 years that we are having didgeridoo festivals, and there are more players and teachers and already a few makers, and yeah, there is a scene going on here.
Is there is a lot of players over there. Like the ones that bring me that I remember is like Gabriel Kimichi. Gabriel
Yeah, Gabriel Kimchi, yes,
Kimchi.
he's a didgeridoo maker and player. He used to work with me for about 6 years in the
Uh-huh.
studio making didgeridoo. Today he has his own
Yeah.
studio, and yes, there are a few more. And I don't know if you heard of Noah Zulu.
Yes, is she's a pro. Like she's playing
Yeah,
right
so
now with
Noah
Armin
Zulu,
van Buren or
yes,
no,
yes,
no.
she was doing a lot of shows lately.
Yeah, yes. Top digital player. The other one it's the other one it's like Mark Yuval
Yuval Mach,
Yuval
yeah,
Mark.
he,
Yes.
he he doesn't perform much, but he's a great player, and he's also a didgeridoo maker. He makes excellent didgeridoos, and yeah, we have a few more, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
not so many famous players. But a lot of people like it here and kind of learn, play together, come to the festival. But I guess didgeridoo scene everywhere in the world would be like in a small percentage of the society
See,
are
yes, indeed.
interested in didgeridoo. But somehow the people who are into it, uh, I don't know how to say it, like good people. Like when we have the didgeridoo festival, so
Mm-hmm.
you feel like there are beautiful people around here and
See,
very good energy. And yeah, I guess this is something special for this field of the didgeridoo and overtone music. It brings good energy into the conversation, into the atmosphere.
yeah.
Yeah.
And how did you knew about didgeridoo, and how was your first how was your first encounter with didgeridoo?
Well, actually, I used to play woodwinds since since I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
I played saxophone and French horn,
Mm-hmm.
in an orchestra, and flutes and harmonica. And when I was 27, I didn't know the didgeridoo, and then I ran across Mukesh. You know Mukesh from
Mm-hmm.
Rishikesh. He passed away the last year, but he was a didgeridoo maker for many years, and he had a place that he taught people how to make their own didgeridoo.
Mm-hmm.
Also djembes and carving. But I ran across him. It was just like in the middle of the street, I saw someone painting bamboos
Mm-hmm.
with lacquering bamboos. And I was asking, "Excuse me, what are you doing?" And he said, "I'm making didgeridoos." And I was like, "Didgeridoo? Isn't it an Australian instrument?" He said, "Yes, but come on inside. Come inside and I'll show you." And I really liked it. And I thought, wow, I should try and learn how to make this sound. Looks interesting. And I got from him a bamboo didge
Mm-hmm.
and went home. And just before I left his shop, I saw they were all bamboos and one wooden didgeridoo, and asked him, "Hey, how did you make this?" And he said, "This one I split in two halves."
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I've got an idea. I, I, I thought about this idea about I was carving a stick, a broomstick, while my during my travel in India,
Mm-hmm.
and I thought that if I cut it in two halves, I could turn it into a flute. And okay, I go home and I will make I will make a didgeridoo. I will make a big one like this. I'll show you. Stick. Where was it? Mm, well, I don't know where the stick, but
Eh,
this pitch,
yes.
this piece here. So this was my first didgeridoo,
Damn.
and I just made it for fun. Not I didn't have any commercial plans about it. I was kind of I studied interior design, and I was working with wood,
Uh-huh.
like making furniture and art, all kind of art pieces for backgrounds and
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that. And I thought this is nice. So as a hobby, I made one didgeridoo, another didgeridoo. I thought it was a good chance to sculpt wood and make it a musical instrument. So another thing is
Mm-hmm.
also an old piece that I told you I used to play the saxophone.
Whoa,
So I
that's
made this saxophone of eucalyptus, saxophone leaves made of eucalyptus.
so
So it
awesome.
was really uh, about sculpting and making making music with it. But I think for maybe 2 years it was just a hobby,
Uh-huh.
and then I was uh, I was called from the production of an Israeli festival called Bereshit, the in English, and it was kind of a spiritual festival,
Uh-huh.
like a hippie festival,
See.
and they said, "We heard you making didgeridoos." I said, "Well, actually, I do, but I never thought of selling them." Okay, we ended up coming to make a booth of didgeridoos in the festival, and I think that these 3 days made me understand that it's not going to be just a hobby. That I saw so many people are into it and excited about it, and people wanted to play and they had things to say about it, and a lot of enthusiasm about the didgeridoo. And I felt like, wow, I didn't sell much, but didn't matter. It was like so exciting. So I started going to festivals with my didgeridoos, and it didn't take long before I decided to open what I call the Israeli Didgeridoo Center,
Mm-hmm.
which is the idea was to start kind of a movement to expose the didgeridoo to the people and to gather didgeridoo players together
Mm-hmm.
and make let's say discover this instrument together and make it make it expand and reach many more people because it didn't take long and I'm sure you feel it yourself. I guess everybody
Mm-hmm.
who works with didgeridoo, when you start with it, you feel like it's magic. Like it's a very simple, primitive principle or
Mm-hmm.
idea, and it is just like magic. It brings a dream time alive, and
Yeah.
it makes you meditate, and it makes you make tribal music, even if you never played music before. And
Uh-huh.
so I felt like this is something we need to explore. We need to bring more people into it, and I was doing for several years. I was doing didgeridoos and furniture. I kept my job as a carpenter,
Uh-huh.
as a designer and carpenter of furniture, and it took me, I don't know, maybe 7 years altogether before we decided for the first time to make kind of a didgeridoo gathering, which ended up to be the first Israeli didgeridoo festival.
Whoa.
And after that, I decided I'm going to quit furniture and other
Damn.
other things and target myself only on didgeridoo.
Damn.
I thought, it would be an experiment. I'm not sure if I can make a living out of it. But since then, the past, I think, maybe 17, 18 years that I'm
Whoa.
doing only didgeridoos.
So awesome.
Uh, so just like you said, you get up in the morning, you make food for the family, and then
Uh-huh.
you stay home making didgeridoo. So I
Yeah.
went out to the studio to make didgeridoo. In the last year, I built a mobile a mobile studio. It's
Mm-hmm.
like a little van. No, it's not a van. It's not a car. It's a wagon
Mm-hmm.
that you carry with your car. But it's a small studio that it's fully independent. I can go to nature and work at nature
All the
with all
tools.
my electric instruments and machines. And yeah, so now I'm like, I leave the house and I go out to the bush and
Mm-hmm.
and
The internet connection is not so good. It's the call. The sound is very is cut, 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 cut. And in a few moments we're gonna reconnect. Still not reconnecting. A few moments more. This is so crazy story that he was a carpenter making furnitures, then just
yeah,
quit. Also, okay, you are again
wait a
connected.
second.
The audio is okay.
Okay, so yeah, so now, as I said, it's been maybe 17, 18 years that I was doing only didgeridoos,
Mm-hmm.
and like I make the instruments, I teach
Mm-hmm.
how to play, and trying to. It doesn't. In the last few years, it didn't happen every year, but
Mm-hmm.
we had already 13 annual festival of the didgeridoo since. 2004. So every year it was, a few months of working on the festival, bringing musicians from abroad, making the local scene come
Mm-hmm.
alive. Yeah, it's a beautiful event.
Still happen?
I hope it's basically yes, but since the corona came, we
Mm-hmm.
had to cancel the festival for 2 years,
Yeah.
and yeah, looking looking for the right moment and energy to bring it back again. Uh, because like I'm not a producer in
Uh-huh.
my daily work, but this event is very special. So we keep on doing it. Um we had many artists, many didgeridoo players,
Yeah.
famous ones from around the world during the years.
Yeah.
And as I said, even if we don't have many famous players internationally, like we have some good amount of musicians making making music here, dealing with therapy with didgeridoo, meditation with didgeridoo, and which
Even a good performance and from Israel, they are so amazing, like Strawberry Man, like
yeah,
Gabriel, Noah Zulu, and another bunch
yeah,
of more didgeridoo players that you
yeah.
don't
Do you know
you
Yogev Harouvi?
how we
Have you met Yogev Harouvi?
no
Uh,
I haven't
he
heard.
became my partner in the last few years,
Okay.
organizing the festival,
Uh-huh.
and he's a solo player. He plays the
Okay.
drums and percussion
Oh
with
yeah, 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 yeah.
didgeridoos.
Yeah, yeah. I remember. I remember him from. I have seen him in Instagram. Some a lot of videos,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
because the how you pronounce the name is I get lost because I read it the names in Hebrew. I read it in Spanish like Yoram. In Spanish
yeah,
is Yoram Sivan. But how
yeah,
do you say Yoram Sivan in Hebrew?
yeah. Just like that. Yoram Sivan.
You pronounce the R
W-
with
w-
the throat.
Yeah, we have reish, like
Raish.
in French,
Uh-huh. In
Yoram,
in
but it's
Spanish is Ra. Yoram.
ra. Yeah,
Yoram.
I know.
Yoram with the tongue. Yoram.
Yeah,
Yoram. Yoram.
about 30 years ago, I traveled in Mexico,
Uh-huh.
and
Which part?
I
Mexico City?
uh, I started Mexico City, and then I
Okay.
went to the Pacific Ocean coast.
Whoa.
Puerto Angel, Puerto Escondido.
Sí,
Then I went,
Oaxaca.
th- then I went to Yelapa. You know Yelapa,
Mm.
and after to Oaxaca, I
Mm-hmm.
took a part there in a stone carving festival in Oaxaca,
Ah, okay.
and yeah, and then I went down to Guatemala and traveled for a few months, and I studied some more Spanish in
Awesome.
Guatemala. Yeah, and then by the end of my trip, got back to Mexico and went back home. So I know a little Spanish.
You needed to travel north of Mexico and try la carnita asada. It's the best the best carne asada. It's in the north of Mexico. You know, you
Yeah,
like cow meat, cow meat.
yeah.
Yeah, okay,
Hmm.
carnita asada. It's like a New York steak or it's a Mexican steak, aguja norteña, like a piece of meat, like very good meat
Yeah.
with beans, guacamole, tortillas, cheese, and making quesadillas with some carnita. Ooh, wee! Good carnita asada, but only over here in the north of Mexico. I am the
Uh-huh. Next
northest
next time I'm in
place.
Mexico.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm
Yeah.
in the northest place in Mexico. There is no more Mexico. There is
Yeah.
no more Latin America. It's like if I took the camera and walk to the north is here in the back. I just have to walk like 10 minutes and I will see the United States fence.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
I'm like that
Wow.
close
You're on the
to
border.
yeah. this close of the United States. I have the gringos over here in my back, like very close. One thing like I'm very curious about, like how did you, because I tried to make one, but it's for me it's like very, it's a little bit difficult. How do you come with the idea of making this kind of dragon didgeridoos? Like
Hmm.
this, like whoa.
Yeah. So I tell you, it's interesting. In the beginning, I had this. I was doing a lot of experiments with
Uh-huh.
didgeridoo making, trying almost every type of wood that I could make, and I was trying, even when I started, trying to make all kind of ideas to make the didgeridoo in different forms. And then I had this idea of trying to, to go inside the branch, like making this line like this, so it would make the didgeridoo shorter, that it would be easier to carry. And so I did a lot of experiments, and then I ran across. It's funny. I was subscribed to a German magazine, paper magazine
Uh-huh.
called Didgeridoo.
Ah,
It
cabrón.
was about 20 years ago, and I saw an advertisement of. You have a cat there too. I have mine is here too. So you see,
Ahí está el gatito.
you see the cat.
Little cat.
Yeah. So I saw Marco Johnson, an American
Oh, sí, sí,
didgeridoo
sí.
maker, with the name Digebox,
Mhm,
and I thought, well, interesting, but I didn't think about it too much.
mhm,
And then one day I saw someone with that Digebox, and I said, wow, so yeah, it means you can make didgeridoos also in different shapes. And I said, okay, I'm gonna try it also. So basically, he was my inspiration to make a real compact
mhm.
didgeridoo. And but then I started also there, like different shapes, and in the beginning, I felt like it had a very small sound, like a
Mhm,
very. It sounded like a toy,
mhm.
and so I started exploring it. What happened if you make it a bigger bell and give it a different design? And since in my in my essence, I'm a wood sculptor more than anything else. I
Sí.
like to sculpt wood, and so it was very interesting for me to try new shapes, and this is how I developed the snake didgeridoo.
Mm.
The snake is like this, this is the snake. See?
Yes.
Yeah.
With the bell
So
down.
yeah, this is a big snake, and then there's the dragon, uh, which has the bell goes up again, and then I made a new model called the Swagon. I made it just like it's like a swan dragon.
Whoa.
It's also like the same pipe,
Uh-huh.
the same physical structure, but uh, in a different shape.
Mm.
Okay, like having a new look. Like this one.
Okay.
See?
Yeah, yeah.
And so this is like something you hold like this.
Damn. Yes,
And
sounds awesome.
yeah, the dragon I have out there. I'll show it to you later. So yeah, basically making the compact instrument was first the idea was to make it easy to carry around,
Mhm.
but then I realized that it holds another uh, very interesting character into it. That once you play the compact didgeridoo, you have all the energy, all the vibration is near you, it's like in your hands.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't go away, but it remains very close to you. You hear yourself
Yeah.
better because the sound is coming out only like 40 centimeters from your ears
Mm-hmm.
instead of a meter and a half. And so you hear yourself good, you feel the vibration, and it's very easy to move. So once I got to a that I have but you hear me?
Yes.
You hear me?
Once.
Yeah. Once I started
Mm-hmm.
or once I reached uh, like a high quality of sound
Mm-hmm.
playing with Didgeridoo, so I realized I enjoy, like I'm getting to enjoy better the compact models. Like for example, today I mostly play dragons and snakes more than long didgeridoo. Uh, Basically, I think it's a kind of evolution that happened also with different instruments like trumpets and horns. You know, at the beginning they were also straight,
Uh-huh.
and then the technology um lets them use it, the makers bend it into like small shapes.
Yeah.
And so, since as a Western, I mean, as, as not being an Aboriginal player, it means that I'm not playing a traditional instrument,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not playing it traditionally.
Mm-hmm.
And after visiting Australia about 16, 17 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
uh, I got to the conclusion that didgeridoo should be like, how do you say? You give the credit for the invention and the spirit to the Aboriginal people,
Uh-huh.
but it's very important not to try and go inside the traditional part of it,
Yeah.
which means uh, as a modern person,
Mm-hmm.
I think as modern people, we cannot really understand and connect to the way they used it in their tribes, and so we can be thankful, especially for the idea.
See.
But I think we have our own way of using it both as a meditative instrument, as a healing instrument,
Mm-hmm.
and also in music. We have our
Yeah.
own rhythms and styles. Like didgeridoo goes very well with trance, and so it's being played with electronic music, and it's being played with drums.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, you wouldn't see it a lot in jazz, and you wouldn't see it a lot in classic music because it plays only one note. Okay, so it's an instrument of the overtone music.
Mm-hmm.
It can, you see all around the world, it's being connected with mouth harps,
Yeah.
and with overtone singing, and much more than being played with guitars and piano, because it's this kind of special music
Yeah.
that does that doesn't, like, harmonic music instead of melodic music, which means we don't remember the melody in the song.
Mm-hmm.
We play, we play the feeling, we play the heart, we play the rhythm, and I think it was also it was very nice for me, for example, playing other instruments that are more accepted around the
More popular.
musical schools
Mm-hmm.
and musical academies. So you have a certain technique and a certain way to play. It doesn't matter if it's guitar or piano or violin. And the didgeridoo suddenly was like, as old as it was completely new because there was no music academies that was
Yes.
teaching didgeridoo. There was no music company that was creating didgeridoo. So it was totally free to explore and to invent new ideas.
Yes.
So I really made so many so many inventions and new designs and testing different woods and different materials and I even got during my way to working with CNC.
Oh.
It's the computerized
See, see, see. Yes.
carving. But as I thought before, I realized that my real passion is for hand working, is for like being a didgeridoo sculptor, not an industry of didgeridoos. So I like finding the wood, like collecting wood in the forest, in the backyards, wherever. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, the world is full of wood that is being fallen or cut or whatever, and so many types of wood are good for didgeridoos and are beautiful and are
Yes.
special. And so I combine my a little bit of my art or my my design and shapes, but I almost always use the natural colors of the wood. Uh, and lately, in the last few years, I've been doing like a lot of work with recycled wood.
Mm.
For example, we had a lifeguard shack at our beach, at our local beach,
Mm-hmm.
that stood here for 40 years on the beach,
Mm-hmm.
and then they decided to bring a new one. So they took down the old shack. You know what's a shack? It's a little like a little house for
Mm-hmm.
the lifeguard of
Okay, okay,
the
see.
of the beach.
Yes.
So the old one was built of wood, and it was standing there for 40 years on the beach. The wood was completely salty, and some of it looked so tired outside. It looked like you could not do anything with it.
Mm-hmm.
But then I found out that I took a few columns of wood
Uh-huh.
from at the day when they took it off,
Uh-huh.
and then I found out that the wood that was on the ocean, like in the ocean on the beach
Uh-huh.
side, uh, kind of how do you call it? It's not restoration. Anyway, the salt was doing a very important job of what's the word?
The wood makes
It is restoration.
it makes something very weird on the wood. The salty thing, the moisture, or because I have seen some wood on the beach
Yeah,
that gets very weird, but get in the good way.
yeah, but inside it's like new. It's a
Oh,
very quality, very high quality wood.
again,
It's like
again, like
the best.
uh-huh. Again, like with the carne asada thing, because over here we do like put salt, ocean salt, to the meat, so it can
Yeah,
and store it for a month, and then it
yeah,
will be a
exactly.
very good meat. Now with the wood,
Yeah,
it's kind of the same process.
it does the same. And then I realized I built a whole series of instruments made of this wood,
Mm-hmm.
and just amazing. So I really love working with recycled wood, with different types of wood that I find, and and yeah, I guess I you know I guess my compact didgeridoos, like the different models, like the snakes and the
Mm-hmm.
dragons, uh, are are like more my most significant signature
Mm-hmm.
into the world of didgeridoo making, because I make a lot of long didgeridoos made, different types of wood and agaves, but what, what I like best doing is the compact
The
models.
compact models.
Uh, yeah, um, yeah. This one over here,
Uh-huh.
I was working on it now, just finished it, and it's really a joy. I love playing it, and I love making it. Yeah, pretty lucky having this job.
Yes. I
I
try
just love
to I
I just
try
love doing this.
I tried to make one of your drawings. That I told you before that if I can do
Hmm.
that model, but it was very challenging. I
Yeah.
haven't I I tried to make like a in paper the model,
Hmm.
but I still don't get the shape that I want to put it on wood.
Uh-huh.
It's difficult. It's difficult. I made another kind of model, but it's not like the dragon. And I want
Yeah,
to
I
do
think
that one. Uh huh.
yeah, I think you did the shapes that Yuval did, right?
Yes. Yes.
Yuval Mark, yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
And I.
But as you know, the shape, like I mean the outer
Uh huh.
line, like what do you call it? The frame
The
line of the
frame.
ditch is just a part of it. Like the inner shape of
Yes.
the pipe is what mostly counts.
It's important.
So,
Yes.
yeah, so I think I got to a very good level with making these pipes. And what's special about the compact models is that I usually develop a model. It's
Mm-hmm.
not like when I'm using natural branches of trees.
Mm-hmm.
So it's more working with the wood,
Mm-hmm.
with what I find. And when I make a compact model, I'm working with my plan. Okay, I'm according to my plan.
Mm-hmm.
And so I like doing both because one thing I really enjoy the work of designing
Mm-hmm.
and sculpting, but but I love wood so much that sometimes it's just you know I let the wood I let the wood lead, like
Okay.
to tell me what he wants to be. You
So awesome.
understand?
Yes. Yes.
Like
Yes.
when I make a compact model, I take pieces of wood and I glue them together and I cut them and I build the whole thing from zero. But when I take a natural branch, I'm looking at
Uh huh.
him and letting the nature do the first job of like deciding what it's going to be like.
Mm-hmm.
Then I see it. So both parts of the work I like working with the natural branches and making my own designs in compact didgeridoo. And yeah, yeah, uh,
So awesome. And also that my mistake was and it still is that I'm very obsessed with the first tooth, so close to the drone, like trying to make the bell section more longer and bigger, and that's when
hmm
the turns get like very stuck. So I have to do like more less long bell section to give the
hmm
turn more, get the turn more like,
yeah.
you know because
Do you
the
make
multi drone. I want
uh-huh,
because at first I want a didgeridoo compact like that because it was gonna be more easier to me to busk and I can give more
Uh-huh.
show busking. But I wanted to make the didgeridoo like my personal didgeridoo. My personal didgeridoo it's a seventh major because the drone is in the key of E. The first tooth is in the key C sharp. It's three. It's three semitones down the octave. So the tooth is like, and I wanted
Hmm.
that on a didgeridoo compact. So the
Yeah.
model that it was more easier to make was like the Juval, yeah, the Mark
Uh-huh. Yeah.
model,
Hmm.
and I wanted to do
Yeah.
that in the Dragon because it's more compact, but
Yes.
it's more
It is more
difficult.
compact.
But it's more
Yeah,
difficult because
but
the bell section is
a little
it's
bit.
it has to be
Uh-huh.
like
It's
10
big.
centimeters. My didgeridoo, the bell section is 10 centimeters, but it's 80 centimeters long. 10
80.
centimeters, 10
Uh-huh.
centimeters, like 10 centimeters, and it has to be 80, 80 centimeters long, and
Uh-huh.
then the rest of the didgeridoo. That in the dragon,
I'm curious.
uh-huh.
Are you using formulas? Formulas for scaling the didgeridoo to know how to draw the line, the inner line.
No, I don't use your formulas. I
No.
just use Digimo on web, and then
Uh-huh.
I'm just figuring out how to with I don't know if I have like very long like this. I put the rope
Yeah.
and then try to put the block the wooden block and put the rope and make the shape and tape it up and make the I make like circles in distances in this is my own my
Yeah.
own crazy things of making digits. This is
Yeah.
very complicated. But the keys of the dragon, it's in the key of C, if I'm
Uh,
not
the, of D.
D.
It's a D with first tooth in D, the second in A, the third one in D again,
Oh,
and then I think it's like F sharp.
mm,
Uh, yeah, like it has like uh,
toots.
four tooths tuned in a major scale.
Okay.
It's like a trumpet, It's like the tooth of a trumpet or a French horn,
Mm-hmm.
the orchestra. And I guess when I started playing, we didn't know much didgeridoo, like didgeridoo players, like unfamiliar at all. And a friend of mine uh, introduced me to Stephen Kent. You know
Okay.
Stephen Kent?
Yes.
Uh, and we used to listen to his CD, and he had this special tuning of his toots in the didgeridoo, toon toon. And I remember this as this was my inspiration. And it took a few years later until someone came with the idea of the first toot in octave and the
Mm,
second in another quint. Said, yeah, I'm gonna try this. And and then about around that time, they started spreading the ideas of I don't remember how many years ago it was,
mm-hmm.
but started spreading the ideas of computerized softwares
Yes.
that you can plan your didgeridoo like Digimo and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, well, it's interesting, but I tried to do it also before I had this on a computer, trying to write down and make experiments, and then I realized that uh, didgeridoo, it's my opinion, of
Mm-hmm.
course. Okay, it's the didgeridoo is not a mathematical instrument for me.
Mm-hmm.
It means that everything I do with the didgeridoo, from making it, from planning it and making it, and playing the didgeridoo, and also the way I teach playing didgeridoo, is all an intuitive way, which means I didn't decide on this at first. Uh, it just happened to be that I never use formulas and numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I try to design my models
Mm-hmm.
by by the look, by the feeling, and I got very precise results. Okay,
Awesome.
for example, when I made the dragon,
Mm-hmm.
I did not have a formula.
You just
Okay, I had the snake, and I decided I'm gonna make it longer and bigger, and I'm just like mm, looking at it and said, no, it's gonna be like this, like that, like planning uh, very intuitively, using
mm-hmm.
my senses more than my mind,
Yes.
and the whole way of living the life of didgeridoo, being a didgeridoo maker and a teacher and player. It's all about uh, learning to be in touch with my intuitive side of the brain, not instead of
The
the
mathematical and logical.
mathematical practical mind. Yeah, uh, and I think that simply I never felt like for example, when I tried making didgeridoos
Mm-hmm.
with the CNC, I felt now it's all about mathematics. Okay, it's all about computer getting specific orders and making it very precise
Same.
and accurate. And this is not what I want to learn and what I want to do with it. I need to be in real touch with it, with my hands, with my heart. And I think this is also about playing it. It's the
Yes.
same. And maybe sometimes when musicians, like professional musicians, using
Requires.
the didgeridoo, they need to know, they need to remember, they need to know, they need to understand other musicians.
Mm-hmm.
But the didgeridoo for itself is it's an instrument of a connection to your soul, to your inner feeling. So it's a way of learning a new method of listening to yourself.
Yes.
Okay, instead of thinking, and that's what I find so magical about the didgeridoo. And this is basically my way. Of everything with the didgeridoo is all
Is
about
l-
senses, not
lifestyle.
about yeah.
Lifestyle.
Uh, mhm.
I mean in the both places, because the buskin makes me to need a didgeridoo very precise in the music, but also like this part of the didgeridoo solo that plays in when we play, that we get lost in the sound and the
Mhm.
and making the didgeridoo. I can spend hours and hours and hours crafting and crafting, and I get lost in time, just crafting and
Yeah,
crafting. And when we are making like very weird shapes, it's like can spend time and time and time trying to make the perfect shape, like to get it round,
yeah,
to not make like a Picasso didgeridoo, but like that. No, very pretty didgeridoo. We
yeah,
get in. You get lost. I get lost in time. Like I don't feel like 3, 4, 5, 6 hours work in the wood. I don't feel it. I just
yeah,
like a blinking an eye. Like what the. Ah, I have to go to sleep.
Yeah, it's evening.
Yes,
Yeah.
damn, so crazy. And now, like you say, like CNC, I will need to make one didgeridoo like that. But because I try,
Hmm.
I don't know if you have heard about Dr. Gapel. He is a he made another kind of program, computer design. It's something design, computer aided sound design, didgeridoo sound design, computerized aided didgeridoo sound design. Yes, that's the name.
Hmm.
And I wanted a didgeridoo in the scale of a Phrygian fifth dominant, but the first tooth has to be in the key of B, the drone in the key
Hmm.
of E. But I'm talking like a very low tooth, like the fifth, the perfect fifth of the drone, and then I
Hmm.
will need the first false tooths F and G, and then the normal scale and the tooths, and only with CNC will be possible to do it because
Yeah.
it has like very the first the mouthpiece is 35 millimeters and then goes to 19 and then 20 and all the you do like woo, 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 woo,
Hmm.
and the
Yeah.
bell section is going to be like very wide and big. That's the only didgeridoo that I'm gonna do in CNC because it's gonna be like mind blown. That didgeridoo is gonna be
Yeah.
mind blown, and that one it's gonna be made because right now I'm doing a lot of techno, and I want to play techno with that didgeridoo, like mixing the music and performing live, playing the didgeridoo, and that's the perfect didgeridoo that I need to make in CNC. But
Hmm.
in general, I like to craft handcraft the didgeridoos, like
Yeah.
doing the shapes and doing the interiors and also the agaves. I want to show you this one. This is the last agave. In the awesome part of Mexico is that there is a lot of kinds kinds of agave. I don't know if you have this kind of agave over there in Israel.
Uh, yes, it looks a bit looks much like our agave. Ah, well, like it has like a double bell. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, nice.
It's 2 meters long, 2 meters, 2 meters and 70 centimeters. 17. I'm very bad with numbers in English. 2.17 metros, 2.17 meters. And the mouthpiece just is paduk, walnut,
Uh-huh.
and maple.
Yeah.
But looks like the
Yeah.
same. Mexico has a lot of variety of agaves. Over in the south, there are like this kind of bells. It could be like
Hmm.
5 inch, but will be
5 inch.
like
Yeah.
conical like 5 pulgadas is like 14, 5 inch. It's 13 centimeters, kind of. 13 centimeters can be like the whole thing, like from here, from
Hmm.
from here to here, the whole thing like
Yeah.
that. And then this part in in the south of Mexico, also in Mexico City, they are like round bells, very wide round bells, and this is the awesome part of Mexico. So big, there's a lots of kind of agave. In this one,
Yeah.
so so pretty, so pretty.
Hmm.
Well, Mark, thank you very much for this time that you share with us your story,
Thank you, Jonathan.
and we are so amazing that um, Israel has lots of awesome didgeridoo players and very good uh, didgeridoo makers like you, and just
Thank
an
you.
extra. I didn't know about the didgeridoo compact didgeridoos, but at first I was like very like nah, those didgeridoos won't sound good because they have the pipes so close to each other. It's gonna sound like very muddy. And
Mhm.
then I heard the ditch boxes, and it was like, yes, I told you, sounds like a toy. It sounds very bad. But then I saw your didgeridoos, and what the for real? My mind changed so like, whoa, damn! It sounds so fucking
Yeah,
awesome.
it does.
Yes, and it is. It's so good. So awesome that you made those kind of didgeridoos, and not
Thank
only
you.
make the didgeridoos, perfection on the sound. So good, so
Hmm.
awesome sound because it sounds very, very, very good. Your didgeridoos, the compact didgeridoos sounds so in Spanish. Suenan bien chingones. They sound very awesome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Last words, because the didgeridoo podcast, it's more like to the Latin American community that no much people, not so much people from Latin America knows lots of players because they are not
Hmm.
so, they don't have many connections. Like a lot of people from Latin America have the connection with me, and then try to make more connections. Then they don't know much of didgeridoo community around the world. So
Hmm.
last words for Latin American community, the didgeridoo players in Latin America, Colombia, Argentina, Peru, Guatemala,
Hmm.
El Salvador, Brazil. Last words for the Latin American
Well,
community.
uh, last words. I would say, come and check, come and check me out. I have a website. If you write my name, Yoram Sivan,
Joram,
in the Google, you will find my website. And also, it's the same on Facebook or Instagram, and you can see my didgeridoos. I also send didgeridoos around the world for people who order. And yeah, I'd love to be in touch. And thank you, Jonathan, for uh, choosing me to for your interview. It was very nice to talk to you, and I like what you do, and I like
thank you,
performing and basking
thank you.
and didgeridoo making. Yeah, it's good. Good to know we have like an international tribe, an international family that like living the same life of this old wooden pipe that makes this music of the heart. Yeah,
Yeah.
so I will send then. Hasta luego. A mí me gusta.
This was Didgeridoo, the Didgeridoo podcast.